like to start out with a story. You just got your CPA license, you just graduated, you got a promotion, whatever reason you want to celebrate. What's a fine place to go to when the shops are like Plano? You get some good food, maybe a small drink. So you go and celebrate. Now it's a little far, so you got to drive your car all the way over there and you park nearby, and you have a little drink. Unfortunately for you, you're a college student, you're a little more experienced, so that little drink turns into a little more than just a drink. And then a little bit more than just a drink. Before you know it, now you're drunk. The problem is, you got to get home, but you left your car parked there. So what do? Hopefully you do the right thing. You open up Uber, you can get an Uber, go home. Next morning you get an Uber, you come right back home. No big deal. So you look at your phone and you go, oh man, those surcharges are high. Not only that, but you still need your car the next morning. So what do? You're in a position now where you're drunk. You don't think the same way you would when you're sober. When you introduce issues, that only makes that question much, much harder. And you may do something very, very bad. In 2018 alone, in the United States, 10,511 people died due to drunk driving related incidences. That is to make no mention of the exorbitant costs from drunk driving, the potential loss of your CPA license, and the potential mental anguishes and depression that you might suffer from incurring this. So now, I'd like to take a step back and introduce one different change. Same thing's going on. Uber's too high, I gotta get home, but this time, there's a golden parachute. What is that? A service that will take you and your vehicle home, safe, sound, reliably, and on time, so that when you wake up the next morning, you don't have anything to worry about. That's the world that our team at MAGB prefers. We worked, prepared, presented a business plan to our client, Rusty Griffin, that explains the golden parachute. Again, a service that will take you and your vehicle home safe, sound, and reliably. And we hope that with our research that we present today, you may feel the same way. Golden Parachute is one service, the initial service that is being offered under the Ameche's Metro Petro DFW LLC business. And our research is dedicated right now to creating the funding for that project. So I'm going to pass it on, and each member is going to go through the layers of research that we went through and ultimately tie it up with some recommendations. Thank you.
Hello friends. So any company starts with its management, and our management of the company is done by Rusty Griffin, who is a military veteran for 30 years, and he has also had a lot of exposure and experience in the transport industry. He is well known. He has performed a lot of functions such as route billing, logistics, and management, and he has also had an entrepreneur mindset since when he was 11 years old. Since that time, he has been investing in businesses, he has been working, and he has been making sure that businesses function. And he's just not an entrepreneur, he is an entrepreneur with a purpose. He has, in the past, started a mentoring program for the high-risk and minority youth, and for the veterans. This program is known as the Majestic Griffins. Through this program and through many other initiatives, he has made sure that he contributes to the society in a meaningful way. The next part is the organizational structure of the organization. Rusty Griffin is the whole and soul of the whole company, and he is going to make sure that the marketing, sales, accounting, and finance, and HR, all of these functions are developed. As the organization grows, and as we add more and more operations, more and more functions, and employees will be added to the organization. So as you can see, it's just a flat organization structure with Rusty as its head, and it's a very flat as well as simple organizational structure. Yes. The main aspect that we were looking for is the startup cost. The reason for this is Rusty is applying for the initial funding for his organization, and for that he needs to make sure that his business plan is ready so that he can present his business plan and get the funding ready for getting his business going. There are three main cost centers for this business. The first one is the Lil Hercules wheel lift. This is the device that attaches to the van and allows him to tow the vehicle, whoever the customer is. Let's say if you are the customer and you encounter a breakdown of your vehicle, or if you are too drunk to drive, your vehicle can be attached to this, and this can be towed away to your destination. The second one is the cost of website. Cost of website initially was estimated to be far less, but we have revised the estimation by keeping in mind that this website is also supposed to accept the payments for the business, and also make sure that all the operations of the website and all the advertisement through the website run smoothly. The other main part is the vehicle signage. Vehicle signage is one more center of revenue for our operations. The way we see the operations generating revenue from vehicle signage is that we can have sponsorships from local brands and many other brands that Rusty plans to get revenue from the vehicle signage. The next part is the operations. Yeah. For the hours of operation, the regular hours of operations that any businesses run is from 10 to 4:30 p.m. So that's the operation that we have chosen as the primary operation, and the most crucial part of our operation, since we are not just a business, but we are a business with purpose. We have chosen the second time as the time between 7:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. This is because this is the time when most of the customers, they might be drunk, or they might be at bars or such other restaurants, and maybe having a lot of liquor, and this might end up causing them potential losses. We want to make sure that we avoid these losses for our customers, hence we have chosen this as the second most important hour for our operation. Now I'll hand over the presentation to my colleagues. Thanks.
So I'm going to talk about marketing segmentation and analysis. There's, like Alex said and introduced, there's really two locations that we're going to focus on, which is Legacy and Legacy West. That was kind of directed via Rusty. Depending on how well we do in Legacy and Legacy West, we'll bleed into Addison also as far as expansion. We're really focusing on these two direct markets because it's just Rusty in the beginning. It's a startup, so we're trying to figure it out as we go. But there's only one truck and ultimately only one Rusty. So just to kind of give you all a little heads up, or kind of orient y'all, UTD's over here. Legacy West is up there off 121 in the Dallas North Tollway, and then just looking right across the street, or right across the tollway, is Legacy. Rusty lives down in Duncanville, and so as you can see, the reason why we picked Addison for potential third locations, it's real close. At the end of the night, if Rusty hadn't gotten a lot of calls, he can bounce down to Addison on his way home, super easy. This is just kind of, to show you the concentration of bars and restaurants. Like I said, over here on the west side is Legacy West, and over here on the east side is just regular Legacy. And then down here, just a list of some of the shops. The next slide, this is all the big corporations that are in the area. So there's a ton of big corporations. Like we said, if we got one guy, we're gonna put him where he's gonna have the best opportunity. So think about how many happy hours people go on after work or whatever. Just after a long day on a Thursday, a lot of people that I've talked to say that they'll Uber home, or not Uber home, sorry. They'll drive their car home from work, then Uber back to the happy hour, and then Uber from the happy hour back home. Well, why not just save time and save money? I mean, if you're going to Uber from your house to the happy hour and back, you're probably going to pay 50 or 60 bucks anyway. So we're just trying to cut down on people's time. This is Addison. Like I said, we're not really focusing on it, but it's a good potential place to grow into, or if Rusty hasn't got a bunch of activity, great place to come down to. All these black little tick marks, those are all restaurants within 2 miles located on Beltline, and then right here, that pink line, that's the Dallas Tollway. So it's 5 or 10 minutes from Legacy West, super accessible for Rusty. Here's the restaurants and bars broken down by Legacy and Legacy West, and also corporate sponsors. Kind of like what we're going to try to do as far as our marketing approach is we're going to try to partner with restaurants and these corporate sponsors to kind of get his name out. So we're going to offer brochures and office signage, which I'll get into, to kind of introduce the services so people can kind of start interacting, look at the website, see his social media on the signage, and kind of figure out if they're interested, research or look into that. It'll have avenues to kind of further look into that. So our target market in Legacy and Legacy West, really great target market. The median age is 36, number of white-collar jobs over 22,000, average household income about 120 grand, and households without children 11,000, over 11,000. So what does this mean? This means our population is relatively young. They make a lot of money. There's a lot of business professionals in the area, and a lot of them don't have kids. So, what are they going to do? They're going to go out and have a good dinner. They're going to enjoy themselves. They're going to have great drinks, and they've got the disposable funds to utilize Rusty's service. And a lot of them have nice cars. Typically, you don't want to leave. If you pay a lot of money for a nice car, you want to get it home. You want to know that it's secure in your driveway rather than at some bar after you Uber home. So here's our marketing strategy. The reason why we're doing this is we're limited on our first initial investment funds, so we want to not waste any money and really go after a targeted market. So we're going to put brochures in different restaurants for people to take as they're coming into the restaurant or leaving, as well as in the lobbies of all those businesses that I showed y'all. And then the next is office signage. Between the two of these, it's like $3 grand to get, between getting 10 office signs, big office signs. You guys have seen them at the career fairs. They're huge. So this will have his website on it. This will probably have a picture of him or a picture of his truck, and kind of let people know what they're getting into and what the service is all about. Lastly, we're looking at billboards. Billboards are more expensive, and it's kind of directing at a larger market. So it's not as targeted, but it's a great place to grow into as his business expands. And then lastly, there's social media. We can take advantage of free social media accounts with paid Google search going forward once he really blows up. So like I said, here's some of the marketing expenses just broken out so y'all kind of have an idea. Of the initial round of funding, we're taking about 15 grand, which is the plug after we already have our startup costs. And we're going to kind of break that down and reserve that for marketing. Competition, there's really no competition. Like Rusty said, this is like, it's a like Alex said, this is a startup business, and it's almost revolutionary. Like, what was the world before Uber and Lyft? Like, there was really just taxi cabs in New York and Chicago. So, unlike Uber, there's no surge charge. Unlike AAA, they'll tow an operable vehicle. AAA usually requires that it's inoperable. And then towing services, they're unreliable, they're inefficient. A lot of times they'll haggle you, overpriced or stuff like that. So we're offering an affordable at $69.99, an affordable ride home that's safe, secure, great service in Rusty.
And so I'm going to be talking about 6 of our key recommendations we want to give. So we want to dedicate our initial funding to the Golden Parachute as opposed to Metro and Petro, which is the refueling service that Rusty was originally planning on doing. Another one is we want to increase the pricing for the Golden Parachute, that it actually will make a profit, because as of now, we don't know if he's going to make enough money based on the $69.99. And we also want to consider competitors such as AAA and towing services, because they offer holiday deals that we have to combat and make sure people keep using our service. And we also want to target selected areas such as Legacy and for so on the Addison area after. And eventually, once we start hitting our numbers and making sure that it's a good idea, we want to move on to other parts of the DFW Metroplex. And we also want to focus our marketing efforts on promoting an image of reliability and customer service. This will outdo our competitors, hopefully, and make people want to choose Golden Parachute. And so finally, as Mickey spoke, we want to focus our marketing strategies on brochures, lobby signage, billboards, and online social media, because Rusty really had a lot of marketing going on that he wanted to focus on. It's just not realistic with the initial funding. And then I'm going to talk about all of our team takeaways. So for Alex, it increased his appreciation for the interlacing relationships of the various functions of a business. For Mickey, it gave him the challenge of giving Rusty the best opportunity to help grow his business and have as much success as possible, reassuring him entrepreneurship is something he wants to pursue in the future. for me, working with Rusty really gave me a better appreciation for entrepreneurs and the amount of thought and work that must be put in to be successful. And then finally for Bavia, a company with a clear vision and a specific goal, when it focuses its expertise on a certain business, can achieve a great victory regardless of the circumstances. And are there any questions for us?
Okay. Any questions? We need 2 questions. Anyone have a question? Yes, Amy.
So just going back to the pricing, it's $69.99 per one,
Per ride.
per ride.
Yeah, so like instead of like getting an Uber, like I said, like you Uber there and you Uber back, and it's like $60. This, you take your car and you just get one ride back, and it includes the tow, it includes you, and up to 3 or 4 of the people that you're with getting a ride back with the car. And
So, oh, sorry. It's really important to include that, because when I saw $69.99, I'm like, my Uber don't cost $69.99.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so, wait, does your Uber cost $69.99?
No, I think that they should probably explain that a little bit more.
Just so I understand like everything that it comes with, and the fact that it's not just me, like it's anybody that could also possibly be riding with me and the car. Does it include a gas fill? No, I was just making sure.
Like a charge for like how much he's driving?
No, like, does he fill my gas?
No, that's
No.
his other service.
That's
No,
another,
that'd be
okay.
another service.
Okay, cool. So we talked about the time that he's open during the day. Why is he open during the day? Is there like a physical brick and mortar office?
I could expand on that since that was my section. So the hours of operation, they were determined primarily based on traffic peak hours, because part of his service is, one, he wants to be able to tow people who obviously have issues driving themselves, but he can also tow people who might be stranded or they might have run out of gas. So there could be other reasons as to why you need to do that. And the 10 to 4:30 specific hours, that avoids most of rush hour. And then the 7 to 2 o'clock hours, that's obviously going to encompass the other market that you're trying to target, because 2 o'clock is what they call last call for bars.
Okay.
So it stops at that point.
I think, I personally think that the towing business is saturated. I think the other part of the business is great. I don't really see anybody doing that. But I think that particularly because of AAA, right?
Well, AAA will only tow your car if it's inoperable.
What
So
about like
he'll-
insurance? Because like I've called insurance and they'll just come to my car.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
And I pay for that regardless, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I was like, I'm not sure if, I would prefer if like he focused all his energy on the latter part of the day. And I would also think about moving that 2 a.m. time a little bit back further, because yeah, the clubs close at 2. When I've been at the club at 2, people don't really get out until like,
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Like, you have to call him by 2.
Right.
If you do, that's a problem.
yeah, I would probably
That's true.
just shift it just a little bit more.
2:30, like as long as you, and he needs to set that expectation.
Right.
Like, you have to have called me by.
Yes.
We talked about how that might be a shift in the future, but as of now, we're trying to work
Well,
with his time frame a little bit more.
No,
So
it's
he can be doing all
a
of
good recommendation.
Yeah, it's a good recommendation.
It is a good recommendation.
I like it, thank you.
Yeah.
So say I'm shocked, like I'm at Legacy West and I need to drive home, but my house is in Fort Worth. Will he bring me to Fort Worth for $69?
As of right now,
Or
I
like
know that
Austin? Like where does he stop?
I think his local area is just the DFW Metroplex. So if you were in Austin, he wouldn't be able to take you that far. But he's planning on expanding that with time. Right now, it's mostly between Duncanville all the way to Legacy. So he'll cover a large area, but the people he's targeting for pickups primarily are going to be in the Shops at Legacy area.
Okay.
Because like sometimes people go to the shops at Legacy, but they're not from that down. Like they're literally from the whole other side of the Metroplex, which could end up being an issue for him money wise. Like it's not worth his time or effort.
Excuse me.
I guess it's probably gonna take him an hour per
Yeah, for tow.
customer.
Yeah.
Is it just him?
It's just him.
It's
for now.
just him.
Yeah.
So we're
Sorry,
like
yeah.
we're trying to work on pricing. That's why it was like $69.99 between $99.99, because we're trying to figure out realistically how many cars he can hook up to, and he thinks that he can do like 20 in a night.
Mm.
Like realistically, there's no way.
Sir.
And he's like, I mean,
But
like
he
Rusty,
multiplies himself.
Rusty's just like, he's very outgoing, and he just like has all this stuff that he wants to do, and like thinks that he can do more than he actually can take on. So like, he's like, oh yeah, it takes no time to hook up to someone's car and pull it off. I'm like, yeah, but it depends on how far they live.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, granted, like a lot of the people that are going to those areas work and live around that area.
Yeah.
That's why we're targeting in there. That's the whole reason why we research like the demographics is because I mean, like, I get like that's fully the case with Uptown, and like Uber surcharge. Like for me, if I go to Uptown, it's like $100 to get home. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Have y'all considered a base price and then per mile after
Per mile.
that base price? It's just something to
yeah,
make it like worth
we've
it.
definitely looked at that, but it's
Because the other thing is, let's say you're with 4 of your friends, and one of them's in Plano, and one of them's in Frisco, and one of them's
Right.
here.
That's
I mean,
just-
it might take 2 hours to drop all your friends off at their houses. Maybe, it's going to be one drop off is
Yeah.
$69 and another $20 for each other person. Like, I think they probably need to, you don't want someone taking advantage of him because he hasn't, thought through it or whatever.
Well, with implementing like that mileage system, it's a great idea, and to put it like if someone put in their address to where they wanted to go, the money that it costs to like implement that into a website is just like in a full blown app like Uber, like he's starting with 40 grand. So our whole like outlook is how do we give him the best opportunity to be successful with the small funds that he has or the investment that he's going to be getting.
Yeah.
So we have to be like really realistic too.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's been a challenge. I mean, like, it's a really cool idea.
It's a
like,
great idea.
I want it because, like, I'd totally use it.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as trying to make it work on 40 grand, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what he's hoping to invest is 40 grand.
That his original he's talking with someone specific. It's a specific investor that he's talking to.
Okay.
And it was originally supposed to be like 80 grand, and then he called us like 2 weeks in. He's like,
Aye.
it's only gonna be 40 grand, and we're like, okay. That changes.
Is he thinking about making or creating an app that people can download so that they can put in all the details of?
I think definitely as he expands,
Eventually.
I think, like in the beginning, like the website where they can just find out more information about him and pay through the site is like what's affordable. It's
Yeah.
like apps. We looked into it.
With GPS. Like there's a business because he also is interested in doing Metro petrol refueling, which would be mobile refueling, like you mentioned, and that would be a later business. So we explored the app, and a general standard app costs to develop about 40,000 or higher, and then to have GPS capabilities could almost run you over 80,000, which
Yeah.
would be almost double his budget just on the apps. And that's a cheap version too. That wouldn't even be a very well
Yeah.
implemented app. So it's an idea that we discussed, but we couldn't bring it in for the initial funding. It wouldn't make any. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
affordable.
I would just, as another recommendation, I would just make sure like the website is like mad user friendly, like dummy proof, right?
Yeah. It's gonna have to be like usable on your mobile phone, 'cause
Right.
that's where everyone's gonna
Yeah,
use it.
I mean, it can be cool on the computer, but really like that mobile version needs to be impeccable.
Yeah.
Just
Which
make
those are it's not super expensive to like buy a website or get someone to like program a website for that. That's why we've been like trying to like figure out how we make that work. Because like an app would be like ideal, but
Apps are not that hard to develop, but I mean the GPS part's probably the harder part,
yeah, and the payment part.
and the payment part.
Yeah. And like if you were gonna like pick someone, I'm sorry, I'm
No,
sorry,
there's no. That's okay. That's okay. I know. I mean, we can brainstorm some of this stuff because I mean I know that you guys have looked. I mean, he's gone this way, like a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the hours of operation, probably the main thing I would say when you're explaining that section to me that the hours of operation that are during the day, or at least it was my understanding that was more for like the refueling piece of it. So
As of now, we're not launching the refueling.
that's what I mean. So I don't even know if they need those hours, is what I'm thinking.
Well, and like I told, like Rusty wants to bring someone on, and like I think that that'd be good if he had another vehicle, but since it's just him, I think doing 8 to 2 or 7 to or 7 to 2 or 8 to 3 a.m. by himself, I think that's a lot more doable because as soon as he adds someone, I mean, it's at least $10 an hour.
Yeah, I
And then
know.
he also has to pay for him to get licensed and all the
And
permits
also
and
buy
like
the
expensive stuff.
little package or whatever. They have to buy the package. I don't know. I think that, well, I mean, well, I'll talk with y'all about your project because I read over it, but that was probably the main thing is I think if he's phasing it in, maybe the hours are, he's going to do that at night, then eventually he'll do the refueling during the day, which if he did hire someone, they could maybe do some of the refueling piece. But, okay, well, that was, we definitely asked you enough questions. Okay, let's see. Jay, thoughts on what are your thoughts overall?
Yeah, so really good presentation. I like the introduction, the hook, really engaged me. Everyone's like voice level, body language is pretty good. Some things to work on is try not to stare at the presentation too much. Hopefully you try to direct your attention towards the audience more and eye contact to everyone rather than just like one side of the room. Other than that, I really liked it.
Okay, Lou, thoughts?
I think it's very good presentation, and you have very clear PowerPoint for each section, and a good example, and give us a number, so it's a good point. But for some slides, maybe reduce some words or add some picture.
Okay, Simi?
What did y'all make y'all's PowerPoint on?
Google Docs, slides.
Okay, it looks really good. I really like it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like theatrics, so I think it's really cool. Well, I love the hook.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Appreciate it.
Now you do have to time that alcohol piece,
Yeah.
right? So like
Yeah, I do.
more and then more, like yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really good, and I think that if you kind of time it a little better, it'll be like
So better.
way better for the final presentation.
Thank you.
You want to add something?
Yeah, to add to that, like, could y'all maybe, like, once you say, like, then comes in the golden parachute, maybe give a little bit of explanation about what it is then?
Okay.
Say, like, and some of the suggestions they said earlier about, like, the time that will pick you up, take you home.
And your
You have
friends.
an idea of what it is
Yeah.
going into it, because I think Bobby, I kind of got stuck when he was explaining the startup cost,
Mhm.
having to say, oh, here's what this is and what it does.
Yeah. That's probably good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Very good.
just a quick comment I had too that
Okay.
you guys are doing your team takeaways. It would actually, I think it'd be nice if you each talked about.
Yeah, actually it's required. Y'all need to do it. Yeah, I do want everyone to do their team takeaway because that way you know what you're saying and you can ad-lib it easier. So that's one reason that I want each person to do it. That's fine. I mean, for this one, it's not a big deal, but you'll see it's a lot more impactful when you do your own. And then you can add to it if there's something else you want to add to it. So, anything else, Simi? Did you have everything? Was that everything?
Oh.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
we
no,
kind of
you're
all
good.
started
Like,
chiming in.
Look like I was. No, you're good.
I don't know. I just want to make sure. Haley?
I thought it was really good. Like they said, the hook was really good, and I liked the like map display up there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Good, like, get an idea. My only real suggestion about the marketing thing would be, I would say social media should be like more up at that, because it's free. It's not that hard to do. I know he's a little older, but it's not that hard to do. I would definitely say social media should at least be in front of a billboard because it's a little more realistic. But other than that, y'all did a great job.
Yeah, I put it last because I was like pairing it with like Google search.
Yeah.
Like Google search gets like really expensive. Like social media paid advertisement gets super expensive.
It would be just like getting like.
I should separate the two.
Yeah.
Do well on Instagram, but yeah, just
I
like
should separate
put
the two
social
and
media.
have social media at the front
Yeah.
and then paid social media.
Because you could even do social media not paid and just get him to like, or I'm sure he has a younger
Okay, anyone else have anything to add?
I think there was, they went over time, right?
They did go over time.
I think there were a couple slides that y'all could have actually added together, like, I thought it was really good that y'all had the map, but after the map, there was like, I guess it was an explanation of the map, but you already did that. So maybe if there was a way to combine both, maybe split it the screen in half, I don't know, but, I don't know. I think that could have saved you just a little bit more time.
Yeah. Okay, go back to the very beginning. I thought the hook was fantastic. I felt like you gave, for the most part, enough information, but I probably know more about what the golden parachute is than everyone else here. So we do want it to be something that everyone understands, what that is. So I think that's a good point to talk a little bit more about it. Move to the next slide. So I thought that Alexandra, you did a great section on the, visualizing it and leading up and, kind of getting people to think about the options there. Y'all can keep moving
This
down.
sound effect is dope too.
Yeah, I like the sound effects. It's like being there. Okay, and then this was phenomenal. I think this also shows the importance, like, you might spend $100 to do this, but at least you're not one of these, numbers here. Okay, golden parachute, so you'll add a little more information, move on. So there's a part of it, y'all kind of have your names here. I think I like this slide. One thing that I feel like was a little bit missing is a little bit of like what each of you did. Like, did y'all have that there? I don't remember. Like, who's the team leader, who worked on what section, who did marketing, who did. So you need to add that in. Maybe you could do it here.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about?
Because we're missing that.
That's okay. Well, y'all can add that later. Okay, go to the next slide. So this is good. With the golden parachute, I would just, again, make it clear that's going to be the first step. The next step is Metro Petro, roadside assistance. Move on to the next one. So this is kind of talking about his background. Keep going.
I think that should
You
be
could
explained.
probably, huh?
I think we should be explaining the business before the management part starts.
Maybe. So what slide are you suggesting to move?
So,
The slide before, the slide before management.
so the slide where we have Rusty's photograph.
Yeah,
Just
move that
before
before.
Yes, just before that slide, we could explain in brief like what the business is.
Yeah, maybe that would be a good way to do it, I think. Yeah, that might be good. I mean, you just have to introduce Rusty. I like the slide about Rusty and about him being an entrepreneur and being in the transportation industry and wanting to help people and all that. I thought that part was good. Yeah, you might want to do that maybe first to lead into it. Okay, move on to the next. Keep going.
Because when we explain the business and then when we explain Rusty's background, I think it becomes much more relevant that how his background fits in exactly
Yeah.
the business.
Now on this one, basically what you told me in this slide is he's a one-man show.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you need as much as what's here. Maybe you could just kind of say, right now it's just him. He does everything. I mean, that looks fancy with the organizational structure, but that was pretty much just him. Move on to the next slide. And this one, I think with some of the changes that you guys are suggesting that this will make this a little bit clearer. I think with his, I don't know, I feel like this slide doesn't really fit in with the others because from the way it looks. Maybe make it prettier. I don't know if there's a way to like make it look prettier. I don't know. But and then I would add the dollar. I know you have the dollar by the amount, but I feel like if it's talking about dollars, it's better to put the dollars on the sides of the dollars. Okay, move on to the next slide. Here, I feel like you should talk about hours of operation and maybe talk to Rusty about it. But the main one is the 7 to 2. And then I would just say, I feel like the 10 to 4:30 is going to come later when he starts doing the fueling, the refueling. So maybe that's phase 1 is this time. Phase 2 is, adding the 10 to 4:30. Okay, move on to the next slide. I thought this was great, talking about where he's wanting to focus. Move on to the next one. Did you guys do most of this research, or did he do this research, or was it a combo?
We did, I think, most.
This was awesome. I feel like
we did most of the research, and he basically he gave us that.
he told you to go to Legacy West.
And then he had some pictures. I don't know if they were the same ones that I put up here, but he had ones that were similar, just kind of like spreading them out. And I was like, that's great because it like gives everyone like kind of an aerial view of like the concentration.
I think it's great.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I really feel like y'all did a lot of research in this area. Move on to the next one. Yeah, I like all of this. I like the corporate sponsors. I like that one.
I think I can get rid of this one.
You might be able to get rid of that one with some of the other ones, but I think talking about corporate sponsors, like you talked about how that would be done, but I don't know. I mean, I think that's a huge part. If you've got the restaurants and the corporate sponsors working together, it's probably going to make it easier. Did y'all ever decide if people are going to have like a membership and then they get a cheaper rate, or he's still working on that? Yeah. Okay, move on to the next one. I thought this was very good, very eye-opening. I didn't realize people made that much money and had that, so I think that's good. How did y'all find this research?
Literally, I just was like digging into like
super
like
cool
government, like non-for-profit.
Oh my gosh.
About Plano and Frisco and Legacy West, and so like a lot of this came up, and they were just like censuses or censuses.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I think this is good. With the brochures, is that really? I mean, is he going to try to go talk to the companies too?
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
So
that's
the brochures
like
are kind of to go talk to the companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna like go talk to restaurants and the corporations in the area and like take his brochures and be like, hey, this is a great service I have. You know, let me tell you about it. If you have happy hour, you know, I'll sponsor it or something like that, or I'll be there and offer, you know, your employees a ride home, so it's safe as an alternative to Uber or stuff like that. Because everyone expenses their Uber anyway.
Yeah.
At least where they're working, they do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, next one. I thought that was good, having a little bit of the information there. Keep going. I think it was Simi was saying, you know, share a little more about what's included in the golden parachute. I think y'all are still fleshing out some of those details anyway, but I mean, I still think it's maybe priced a little low. If it's just someone going from Legacy West to one of the, you know, apartment complexes there, or like a house that's local in Frisco, you could probably do that for $69, not a problem. But if you're going to like multiple locations, that would be the risky part. Okay, move on. I like this slide. What I would like for you guys to do instead of the way it is try to summarize the words that you're putting there, like dedicate funding to golden parachute. Like take a few of the words out because that was a little bit busy. I found myself reading the recommendations instead of listening to y'all. So just see if you can make those more keywords. Okay, next one. Again, each person do the team takeaways. Move on to the next one. If each person does those, you could maybe put them all on one page and just, you know, like you could have Grant talks about, I want to be an entrepreneur in the future, or this would help me with this, or Bobby, I could talk clear vision, and then he can talk about it. Okay, move on. So add the thank you to Rusty in there, and then I think it's pretty good stuff right here. I loved the hook. That was one of the best hooks I've heard. Okay, yeah, it was really good.
There's a point I wanted to mention. I wanted to mention it now that we're assuming that this isn't something that I did screw this up. I wouldn't mention this in the presentation, but I would mention this. Like, this is something that we forgot to introduce, I think, in this part.
What is that?
One of the main target for Rusty is corporations initially. So that'll be an adjustment that we can make later on, because his idea is that one of the liabilities that a bar faces, I forgot the exact name for this, but it's a liability that if you give a person more alcohol than they should have and they're involved in an accident, you're liable for any of those accidents.
Yes.
So one of his main targets are going to be the bars, and one of the reasons he actually wants to go to Shops of Legacy is because there's a lot of bars there.
Yeah, and a lot of rich people going to those bars, and
you have the potential risk that if you're an owner like a Henry's Tavern or something like
that,
and you have a guy who has a Ferrari or a lady with a Lamborghini, and she damages her car or hurts somebody, you're liable for those expenses. And there is an insurance for that, but this provides an extra layer of security.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm definitely going to add, because that'll answer a little bit more as to
I think that would be really good, because again, if you get hit by someone in a 20-year-old Hyundai versus a Ferrari, who are you going to try to dip the money out of? You're going to try to dip the money out of the person with the Ferrari. And so there's a bigger risk there than just...
That Ferrari person is going to sue the bar.
Well, exactly.
Because that's how it goes.
Yeah. They're going to... what, if they have the Ferrari or if they don't have the Ferrari?
If they have it,
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's viable.
That's what I'm thinking. They're going to go to wherever the deep pockets are. But anyway, okay, well, that sounds good, Alexander. I think that would be good to add that. Okay, good job. This is such a